Hey guys, welcome to The Light Stand. We are Art and Natalie, your hosts. And today, by popular demand, we have them back, Willy and Esme.
Hello. Hey guys.
Hello.
Welcome, guys.
Thank you.
How's your day going, man? What'd you do
good.
today, yeah?
It's going good. Had some menudo in the morning.
Nice.
No, pozole, my bad.
Pozole.
It was pozole.
Red or verde?
Red.
Red or verde in Spanish.
Nice. And since we're talking about red, Natalie's wearing red, I'm wearing red. And it wasn't on purpose. It's just we're wearing red together. And we're going to talk about Valentine's. Valentine's is a couple of days away. So, we're going to center this chat around Valentine's. So, Willy and Esme, this is going to be Valentine number what for you?
Valentine's number 23 in total. Yeah. 23.
All right. So before we dive into, what you guys do for Valentine's, like what's your perspective on the day?
Perspective. Dang, dropping dimes already, bro.
Yeah.
Valentine's, obviously a day to celebrate love. Valentine's in itself for me is to make it extra special. And if you're not already doing it, obviously. Perspective in regards to like, what do I think about the holiday?
Yeah, let's just call it what it is, man. Let's just dump into it,
So for me,
empty the wallet or a true special romantic day.
It's an empty your wallet day for sure. I like to do things throughout the year and everything. So sometimes for me, and I don't know if it's maybe because we've been married for such a long time or been together for such a long time. For me, it is an empty your wallet holiday. To me, really, it is just another day, but I tend to still do the dinners and all that stuff and the gifts every once in a while. There's times where we don't do any gifts or anything like that. We'll just stay at home and everything. But the holiday itself for me is a very empty your wallet type of, let's give you dozens and dozens of gifts upon gifts upon gifts because of a day that was made up for more of a marketing ploy to make more money throughout the nation, I think, really. So,
okay.
Yeah.
I have to say, man, maybe it's a guy thing, but I kind of share the sentiment. Esme's giving us dirty looks, man.
No.
But
No, not at all.
I kind of share the same, because in my opinion, in our opinion, as we were discussing off the pod, we should be romancing our wives, whether it's the 14th of February or not. Right? We should be dating them before. We should be doing special things for them already, right? Like winning them over and over again.
Yes.
Yep.
Right, babe?
I agree. What for us, it's 21
It's
years.
It's going to be the 21st Valentine's together.
Okay. So yeah. So we're right behind you guys. But yeah, it's an everyday thing and you guys have to keep that spark alive, I think, especially if you've been together for so long. I feel like it can get boring, especially if you're on a routine and you do the same thing over and over. And it's like, no, like, gotta keep it spicy and entertaining. So
I like spicy. It's so good.
oh my gosh.
Have yourselves a tahini Valentine's, guys.
Oh my god.
A jalapeno.
With chamoy.
What is it? What is it?
Mango habanero.
Right? Valentine's. What day is today?
Today is the
It's on Tuesday, guys.
11th.
It's on Tuesday.
See what I mean?
Okay.
Oh, they called us out, man. Like, where is Valentine's?
I'm like, is it on Tuesday?
We're just thinking about the Super Bowl right now.
Yeah. Well, not really.
I hope they both lose, by the way.
Thank
They
you.
end in a tie with 0.
That's it,
If
right?
it's not the Cowboys, I don't want to know.
Yeah. So
Well, Cowboys, it's another episode.
Don't get me started.
I know. So what about you, Esme? What do you think about Valentine's?
Honestly, I believe the same. I mean, not necessarily that it empties my wallet, but like you guys all said, I think you should keep the fire going and make it every day special. Of course, you're not necessarily going to be special because you do have the struggles and the fights and in what happens in marriage, but like Willy said, it's okay for me not to receive a gift on that day. Even though he does make an effort and he'll buy me gifts or flowers, you know, or even for me, like with the kids, like we even now, you know, let the kids join us in the Valentine's celebration. We'll have a dinner. Willie will cook a steak outside and I'll be inside doing the sides, and then we'll sit down at the table, you know, and the kids will join us for dinner, not necessarily because it's Valentine's. It's not only about me and him, but we also try to include the kids.
Awesome.
I mean, of course, we do have our years where we've taken like a mini getaway or so on and so forth, or we'll just make dinner reservations between us two, you know, but
That's
yeah,
good.
I think you should keep the fire going. The 365 days a year. Is that how you say it?
But did I get you there? How were you initially?
Oh no, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Initially, like I was like, oh, Valentine's, like especially our first one. And can we talk about our first Valentine's Day?
Yes, of course.
Boy, no.
Yes, let's go way back. Let's go.
Oh my god.
Story time.
Surprise! I'm just kidding. Do you want to say it?
Okay, you go for it. Oh my god.
I remember clearly our first Valentine's. I was.
Oh my god.
I was a senior, and that's when Willie was already out of high school, and we had our first Valentine's, and it was so cute because he gave me my first promise ring. Do you remember?
Oh yeah.
It was the first promise
purple
ring.
one, right?
Yeah, the purple one with the little white stones on the side, because my favorite color. It's not necessarily my birthstone, but purple is my favorite color. So it was a really nice ring, and he gave me that. And well, I don't know what plans we had that day. Remember, before dinner we already had plans initially to go somewhere. Was it to a birthday party or something?
All right, I can. I'm okay. So I might be thinking of something different.
No, yes. Well, the restaurant that we ended up going. I'll tell you about that right now. But
Okay, Clue. Is it with the one with Rosa?
yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh my god, why are you gonna talk about this?
It was our friend Rosa's birthday.
yeah.
So she was having a birthday dinner. So we're like, okay, let's celebrate Valentine's between us and then we'll attend the dinner. So then he gave me the promise ring, and then we're like, what should we eat before the party? And we ended up at Wendy's. And Willie swears like, oh my God, don't even tell anybody. Because it was I don't know. Was it right? It was Wendy's where we went.
Oh man, I don't know. Again, you're my timeline person because I don't know.
Yes, it was Wendy's.
I was thinking Denny's.
No. It was Wendy's.
Okay.
It was Wendy's.
Okay, yeah, that we can talk
Denny's
about
is
this.
another story.
Yeah, that was another story. Rosa,
Yes, it was
tell me.
Wendy's. It was Wendy's.
It was Wendy's, and you paid for it.
And I paid for it, yes, because I had a job at the time. So I'm like, oh, he already gave me a gift. Well, let me pay for it. It's just Wendy's. It's not like it's a fancy dinner. So I mean, I was okay with it. But Willie was like, oh my God, I can't believe you're paying. Oh my God, I brought you to Wendy's. I'm like, dude, it's okay. Like,
Right. It's not like you're paying the meals all the time.
Yeah,
And there's
I was just happy, honestly, to have my promise ring on and show it off.
Oh, that's so sweet. That's awesome.
Right?
Yeah, I don't remember why I didn't pay. Is it because I didn't have money? Or?
I don't remember. I don't remember details, but
'Cause
I remember I paid and I was okay with it. But you were like, oh my God, don't tell anybody.
No, but that's something that you're taught growing up. Your father teaches you these things. Is the whole
The man's supposed to.
the man has to do these things. You tienes que pagar por la mujer. Be respectful and all that stuff. So, some of the first dates we had, I totally broke those rules, man. That one. Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, I remember. I think we had gone with them first, and they didn't have any food, and then we took off, and that's when Rosa came with us, right? And then we ended up eating it by the
that was
gazebo.
another day. That was another day. I know exactly what day you're talking about.
Was yesterday? Was it? Was that? And then did we eat the Wendy's by the gazebo?
No, that was another day. I was already pregnant at that time.
Oh wow.
Babe, you're skipping dates. There's no
totally am.
tomorrow. You're getting ahead of me.
I couldn't believe.
Let me bring you back.
I couldn't believe that I wasn't paying. I don't know why I didn't have any money. But
Maybe because you had just bought me the promise ring.
probably, man. Yeah, like I remember. I do remember kind of the price of the ring.
Me too.
And I was just like, man, what am I gonna do? It was for me. It was a very extravagant gift in that time to pay for it. And I was just like, man, this is nice. Like I'm gonna go all out, and then I didn't have any money left over.
Aww. Hey, that's love. That's awesome.
That day I was the happiest girl.
I'm taking it to Wendy's.
And we're ending the podcast, guys. What's your most memorable Valentine's Day? But also, what do you think about Valentine's just in general, like the day?
Well, I mean, like I said before, I think that it has to be celebrated every day. I mean, not necessarily every day, but I mean, go on dates, go surprise your spouse, go have lunch, take a day off from work and go eat breakfast and something. Spend that quality time with your partner. I mean, another thing is like knowing what their love language is, for, you know, from your couple, like especially you are, words of affirmation. So writing you little notes like we used to in high school, like telling you how awesome you are and stuff like that. Like that's how he feels loved. So, yeah,
man, for those of you that have a significant other with the love language of words of affirmation, I think that you have it the easiest because you don't have to spend any money. And that's how I feel loved, to be honest. Like I just tell me you love me. Just tell me that you appreciated that quesadilla that I made you or something. I don't know. Like you just have to say it and right. I'm head over heels for you. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But I mean, also someone that's not used to saying not necessarily like positive things, but words of like encouragement. If you didn't hear that when you were young, it is hard. And it was hard for me. If you remember, like it was hard for me to tell you like, oh, good job, babe, when I wasn't used to saying that stuff. You know what I mean? So you have to practice it. Yeah. But, I mean, speak life. And I just tell them like what they're doing wrong, like tell them what they're doing right too.
Exactly.
So yeah. Yeah.
Nice. And what's your most memorable, Valentine's?
Oh, it's been so long, honestly. You're gonna have to.
You guys have gone on a Valentine's Day, or
you know what? Now it's not more. We don't really celebrate that date specifically. Yeah. You know, we're always constantly dating each other, like going on little. Hey, the boys are already old enough. Let's leave them home and let's go on a nice dinner, stuff like that. Like now, to be honest, I don't remember. I hope that's not a bad thing, but do you remember, babe?
The Mana concert.
Was that? But that wasn't Valentine's.
That's the point.
Oh,
is that we just do like we do the just because. I buy Natalie flowers just because.
Yeah.
Out of nowhere, and I think you like those more.
Yeah.
Like I don't know, man. I think like in on the 14th of February, you're kind of expecting.
Mm-hmm. Some people, a lot of people. And I mean, if you're barely starting, you know, to date, I think that there's nothing wrong with you going all out on the 14th. But once you get into a relationship where you've been together for so many years, it's like, it doesn't have to be extravagant that day. Like it has to be
on Valentine's Day.
Right.
I feel like that can be a little dangerous every once in a while. Like if you go super extravagant for the first 3, 4, or 5 years and you just go crazy, like is that expected all the time?
Oof,
you know,
that's
like,
a good point.
Expected, and obviously from our point of view, is it expected from the lady all the time? And like say on year 6, you're just like, let's spend a nice dinner at home. Will the lady be either lady enough to say that's fine, or pues no? Then that's, you know what I'm saying? Is that
she expecting more? Right.
Yeah, is it expected upon every single year? And is it expected is it a one-way street for them or is it a two-way? You know, do they give each other gifts and all that stuff? So it's definitely a line. It's a fine line you have to walk between. Like you make it your own. Obviously for us, it's not a daily thing. It's not, but I do the flowers thing. I do the, let's go out to eat. I do the, let's do dinner. Let's do, like you said, dating each other. For us, it's just last night. We had a date. Originally we did have plans to have a dinner with for some friends that are a couple. But you know, obviously sometimes plans change and everything, but we've been wanting to go to Casa Pantera for a very long time since it had opened. Yeah. And it's always booked. I think you do have to reserve. I'm not sure if you can just walk in, but they have their link and all that stuff. So as soon as I knew plans had changed and I was like, well, we had already had that plan. We had already told the kids we're going to, you know, go on a dinner date with this couple friends. So I looked it up, saw that they had an 8:15 slot available. Boom, right away. So then I sent her the screenshot and right away the heart emoji. Ay, chiquito hermoso. So I'm like, let's go. You know, I've been wanting to go, which by the way, Casa Patera, guys, total vibe. Awesome place. I was in awe when I walked in.
The music, the place, like it was just
great.
A different experience. And It's awesome.
You don't feel like you're in El Paso.
No.
You walk in and you're like, whoa, what is this? So it's off of Pershing. This is not sponsored, but shout out definitely to Casa Pantera for the experience.
It's really romantic.
It's super romantic. It's very dark. It is very dark in there. But obviously that sets the mood, but it's a great restaurant. A little on the pricey side, but I think very well worth it because of the ambience that they put you in.
And the service.
And the service is awesome.
Awesome.
The waitress, the girl that we had was amazing. She looked tired, but she didn't purvey that. She was awesome. She explained what the menus were. This was our first time being there. But that's one of the things that, being spontaneous is also one of our top things to do on a Valentine's, or top things to do just for the marriage itself. Or what we do on a 365-day basis, show each other that you love each other all the time and keep it fresh. Right. Keep it fresh. Make sure that they know that you love them, not just on Valentine's, But then again, we can understand, I would say sometimes maybe people are very, very busy. Maybe they have, their kids are in sports. And I've seen that. I've seen kids or families that have kids in sports that are involved in triathlete stuff, and that are involved in student council, that are involved in a lot of activities. So sometimes you may not have the time. So they make Valentine's their day, where they're like, hey, you know what? Kids, you're staying home. Me and dad are going to go and have a great night.
That's good.
So I can understand, you know what I'm saying? So like to each their own, everybody makes it their own thing. Again, for us, we do it all year round. So that's why, to me, I think it's more like a money dump thing, just to make more money on that day, or for everybody to profit from it. But we have enjoyed our Valentine's every once in a while. So definitely to each their own for that.
That's awesome.
So
nice. So talk to us about your top 5 recommendations for Valentine's. Whether you're a new couple or an experienced couple, whatever. What would you say your top 5 are?
Our top 5, right? Mine and yours in general?
yes.
Okay. A mini getaway. I love taking road trips, even if it's just to Ruidoso, just me and him.
Yeah, something quick too. Like that's why it's a money dump sometimes. But last year I think we took off to Ruidoso or Kharkov. I don't know where we went.
Ruidoso.
We went to Ruidoso for 2 days, so I think it was Saturday and Sunday. But it was with a couple of friends that we went with that are also couples and that have kids. We did also take the kids, right? We took the kids. So that was a cool little mini getaway. It was a bunch of people that you trust, that have same interests and everything. And we did, I think, a weekend, and that was cool because that was probably,
and we got snowed in on Valentine's Day.
Oh, wow.
Was that then? Okay. That was actually pretty cool. Yeah. We got snowed in. We couldn't even leave the driveway. No. That's how much snow it was. And it's on a downhill, or the house, that the cabin itself is on a hill. But that was actually pretty cool. A little mini getaway can always help. I know a lot of people like to go to Into the Mountain Gods. Into the Mountain Gods is actually a pretty cool place to stay at too. Yeah. It's very serene. Is that the word? Serene, like very. It's serene. Yeah,
it's peaceful, right? It's very
super peaceful. Yeah.
It's very like naturey.
Yeah, heck yeah, man, and I love that.
You're surrounded by forest and pine trees.
Yes.
The deer.
The lake.
It's lake. Yeah, it's quiet. You hear the water. They have a cool pond or man-built lake, I think, back there, unless it's natural. And then there's like a water fountain in the middle that throws out the water. So you hear that and you're like, oh, this is super chill. Yeah. So
it's peaceful.
Mini getaways for sure.
Yeah.
Nice.
Whether it's with your friends or your significant other. Number 2 would be a fancy dinner.
Fancy dinner. Definitely. We just went over that. Casa Pantera. Amazing place. But there are obviously other places out there that you can go to. I think the only thing that sucks about that sometimes when you do it on Valentine's Day, everything's going to be packed.
The waiting.
Exactly.
Yeah,
even if you do reservations, regardless, you're going to wait.
Yeah, even then, we waited at Casa Pantera for 30 minutes, even though we did the reservation.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, well, it's just us two, They had said other people, but the dinner reservation is good because, even a good meal is always good. Definitely.
Yeah.
I think that's my love language.
Food.
It's medium rare steak.
Medium
Well.
rare. You're a medium rare guy.
Medium rare, yeah.
I'm well. I got
Really?
the other way.
He
I'm
likes
well.
it like beef jerky, like cooked, like no blood.
Nothing, bro?
No.
Zero blood, man. I could do medium. I went from well done down to medium well.
Okay.
But I can't go under that, man. I can't. If I see red, I'm like,
Really?
yeah.
Like
man.
he can hear the cow moving.
Is it because you can taste it? Because you can taste it?
Some people like the carne twitching on your plate, bro. And you're like, no, I can't do that.
No, I don't. I'll never be able to do rare. Rare is too much.
Yeah.
I'll do medium. I
Okay.
think I've tried medium rare, but I'll stay at medium. What I've learned with a couple restaurants is you can ask, if you ask them, they'll always try to undercook. So then ask them for medium well, and they'll give you medium sometimes. So if you've been asking for medium, what did you say? Or well done? Or medium well, they'll do under that.
Okay.
So that's my thing with restaurants. And there's different restaurants that I've learned it at. Obviously, you can tell we go out and I like to eat a lot of steak. But you go to a restaurant, you tell them a certain, how you want it done, and then they'll undercook it there. So then I'll tell them medium well, and I'll get just a regular medium. So can you taste it though? Like, can you taste if it's too undercooked? Is it chewy?
I think it's more chewy.
Yeah.
I think it's more of like when you're cutting it and you see all the, the red-ish stuff's kind of squirting out of your plate, and then you just start chewing it. It's I don't know. It's like chicle. It's like.
No, I feel you. Yeah, I feel you when it's like a little under medium. Have you seen that reel? The one that it says, this is the type of person you are with the way that you take your steak.
No. your personality based on the steak?
Obviously they're lying, but
Yeah.
for the well done, it says you're a psycho.
Oh wow. Ándale.
I guess I was a psycho for a long time.
Right?
I'm crazy for you, babe.
Oh.
Oh. Number 3, I would say a couple spa day.
Yes.
Who doesn't like a massage?
For sure. Yes.
Be pampered all day, and just a relaxed day in the spa.
Yeah, for sure. So I haven't necessarily had that done yet, but I know that you like to. So, what did you get the membership to?
Hand and Stone Spa.
Are we butchering it? Hand and Stone Spa or Hand and Stone Spa. It's a new spa that's on the west side. She was able to get a membership there. I have a thing about people like touching me. I'm not, but I'm a hugger. I like to shake hands or whatever, but I have to get used to, I've never had like a facial done or a manicure or,
You've never had a full body massage?
No, bro, never. But
Really?
I do want to try it. I really
Yes.
do.
Willy,
Yeah.
do yourself a favor, man.
Best thing in life?
Oh my gosh, bro. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Damn, bro, you're living it right now.
No, it's because it's so good. You don't know
Until you know.
until you know, dude. Like, it's so good.
Yeah.
Especially, well, let me preface this. I think and babe, you can, you're my wife. I think I have pretty nice feet for a guy, for being a guy.
He does.
Because I've been in those soccer locker rooms, man. There's some garras out there, There's some werewolf feet out there. But luckily, I'm okay in that department. So I'm okay with them when I showed up and they're like, oh, you have to take your socks off.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, but I was like, all right, I guess. Dude, once they start massaging my feet, I was like, oh my gosh. Like, you don't know how much pressure points. And for those of you, for the people that are into like, what is that called? Like feng shui, not feng shui. It's like this thing. If you Google it,
Like your pressure points.
Yeah, Google
on
like
your
the pressure
feet?
points on your feet. Yes. And they say that specific points in your feet are connected to your certain organs.
Okay.
So it's like if, for example, if they're massaging your big toe, it's like your hearing, and then your middle toe, it's like, behind your right eye, and like your other toe is like your brain, and this, in the middle of your foot is like your heart and your digestive system and this and that.
Oh, wow.
I don't know if all that's true or not. All I know is now that I had it done, I always want to have it done.
Yeah.
You see,
It's
babe.
so good. And then in your hands too. I never knew that getting just my hands massaged.
There's hand massages?
Yeah, like they do. It's a full body, bro.
Oh.
They do everything. Head to toe, front and back, everything. And then I like when they do like a sports kind of like a deep tissue, because like they move your leg, like you're like if you're laying Superman style, right, face down, they grab your leg and then they force it up, like they force your knee up towards the like under your armpit a little bit, and it's like a hip flexor thing, dude.
That sounds painful.
No, dude, it's good. Well, you got to be a little bit, flexible for this.
Yeah.
But when they're doing it, your hip bone, it feels so good.
Okay.
Yeah. What else?
I think so what, what's my biggest fear? And I asked, we went to a grand opening to the Hand and Spa for friends. We have friends that own
The
that.
name is Hand and Stone Massage and Facial Spa, just so we can be.
There you go. Yeah, sorry.
Gotcha.
Disclaimer, we're not sponsored.
We're not sponsored,
We're
but-
not getting paid to say this.
But if you'd like to send a check.
But if you guys want
wanna
to sponsor us,
But it is located.
massages.
It's
Well-
located on Sunland Park Mall.
Yes.
Oh, it's very close to us
Drive.
then.
Yeah.
Inside of the mall.
No, in Sunland Park Drive. It's it's a shopping center. I forgot what's in the corner, but it's like 3 shopping centers. You can't miss it when you're going up. Yeah, you can't miss it. It's right in the corner.
I think it was an AT&T.
Was it?
Or Verizon. Something was extra.
Cool.
But my biggest fear, and I asked the lady that's I guess the manager there, and I'm like, does anybody ever pass gas?
Oh,
Yes, because I've heard.
they press a certain button and burn.
Yes.
And
Willie
she
would be
said-
the one to ask that question.
No, I mean, I just
You
want to
never know,
I'm
yeah.
curious. So
It's a valid question.
Yeah, definitely. Because I've heard of the stories of the Asians that do it at the mall. Can I say Asians? Is that the right thing to say?
I guess, yeah.
Los chinitos que están en la,
Sí, sí,
yeah,
sí,
the
sí.
ones that are at the mall,
Yeah.
in the middle. They have the.
shaking her head like.
I mean, I want to be politically correct.
Right,
I got you.
Don't want to offend anybody, obviously, but they're in the middle of the mall. They have their massage chairs and all that stuff, and I've heard
The people that do massages in the mall.
Yes.
Okay.
Then, the people that have gone massages there have not only just passed gas, but maybe let go of fluids.
Oh.
So when I asked the
Getting
lady,
massaged?
yeah, I mean, some of them fall asleep and all that stuff. So I asked the lady that was doing them, I'm like, is that for real? Does that happen? She's like, yeah, we're moving things around, your entire body. We're hitting special spots that will
And you're
release
relaxed.
certain things, and you're relaxed. So what happens when you're relaxed? Sometimes you pass gas.
Let it go.
Or yeah, literally. And I was like, wow. But she said that not only that, but people have let go of bodily functions sometimes.
Wow.
And I'm like, dang, okay, so I'm afraid of that. And I'm like, what if I just have menudo?
Yeah.
Well,
and I gotta go.
that's why I told them we need to go fasting.
Yeah,
then.
you go first thing in the morning.
First thing in the
I just
morning.
said
Without
get
coffee.
fasting.
I just said my love language is food, and you want me to go fasting?
I'll take you for a big steak afterwards, babe.
Ándale.
Yeah.
Oh, there
Okay,
you
that sounds
go.
nice.
Dude,
No,
I'm
man,
telling you, man, once you have a full body massage, you cannot not have a full body massage.
Okay.
It is legit.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm
like
definitely gonna go.
I am absolutely going to go once a month forever. It's
Well, so now you have this one.
yeah.
It's right off of Sunland Park, and it's the back building.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, we'll give it a shot for sure.
Membership, ándale.
Membership, yeah.
Yeah, I already got my
Esme
membership.
got her membership.
First, I had a facial done. Oh, that was my first time ever getting a facial,
Wow.
and because I'm scared to get like chemicals inside my face, especially because my skin's really sensitive. But I told the lady that was gonna do my facial like everything. Like she asked me like 20 million questions, and she's like, "Okay, about your face, your skin, how sensitive it is." And she used a product that she needed to, and oh my god, I was in heaven. Yeah, it was an amazing 1 hour facial. It was
Oh wow.
How about that? Did you have people touch your face?
Yeah, but just not a facial, just like a massage.
Okay.
But dude, there's points in your face and you're like, dang.
Yeah.
Keep touching that point, bro.
Yeah.
Like it feels so good. And yeah, I mean, the best way to describe it, I think, is and then they say after a full body, you need to drink a lot of liquids, a lot of I was gonna say water. You have to drink a ton of water because they hit your lymphatic system. If you're familiar with the lymphatic system, it stores toxins in your body. So when they massage these, like all these toxins are being released.
Okay.
And you gotta hydrate yourself to
Flush it out.
Excuse me, to pee it out as much as possible, and then take a nice little nap, bro.
Okay.
You leave. I have left.
So definitely don't do this before an appointment. Okay.
Yeah. No. You want, at least a
full
good
day.
maybe like 4 or 6 hours after, you're not going to do anything.
Okay.
You go home, drink a ton of water,
Enjoy it.
pee a couple times, and go to sleep. And you have one of the best naps ever. I'm talking like when you wake up with the vava on the pillow.
Oh, man.
Confused of what day it is. And, you're like, Mom, I need to go to school.
Yeah, literally. And you're like, you don't know what's going on.
And you're like, wait a minute. I'm in my 30s, man. What are we talking about go to school? That type of good nap, bro.
Okay.
So it's so good, man.
All right.
But
man.
anyway.
So back to the
list.
Yeah.
Back to responding. Okay, well, that was number 3. Number 4, Valentine's with other couples that you share the same, I guess, like values, or you share the same thinking, or I don't know how
friends.
to. Good friends.
Just good
Yeah.
friends,
yeah.
Good
Yeah.
friends. Yeah, definitely. I mean, like
That's
I said
always fun.
before, yeah, it's always fun. It doesn't always have to be just you and your significant other, but having a good time with friends.
Yeah, with other couples, it makes it definitely fun. You end up going to different places that you've never been to, really. So love doing the couple thing too on Valentine's. And it doesn't necessarily have to be right on Valentine's. Like I think how you said the whole Mana concert thing. The point was because of Valentine's, but it might have been on a Monday or Tuesday or something like that. So yeah, I get it. I like it.
Yeah. It's just those because, right?
Yeah.
Like just cause I love you. Here you go.
There you go.
I don't have to wait for a special day in order to romance you and make you feel
Exactly.
loved. Right.
Exactly.
Is there a number 5?
Number 5, well, we were just talking about it, about how the holiday's not only for the women, it's also for the men, and we need to consider them and what their liking is and what they like to eat.
Yeah.
I think that's a good topic right there, man. Like, how many of you ladies give us some feedback? How many of you ladies actually gift your men?
Yeah.
Do you go out? Do you make it a special day for him? I don't know, like depending on how his day was or whatever. Maybe he's tired or he doesn't want to go anywhere. Do you have something ready for him? What's his love language gift for him? You
If
know?
it's even gifts.
Yeah, legit.
Yeah. Because, and ladies, let me tell you, we do, even as dads, I think there's something about becoming a dad where getting socks and calzones is okay.
All right, can I interrupt you? I promise. I swear, that was our conversation on the way over here.
Dude.
Oh, nice. He's like, socks. He's like, we're talking about socks. So he loves getting socks, the Nike socks.
Dude, I love socks, bro. I love my socks.
We were having that conversation on the way over here, actually.
Continue.
No. Hey, I'm just saying, it's a cool gift, but it doesn't have to be every year.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be all the time. However, the last pair of socks gift that I got this Christmas were awesome. They're Dragon Ball Z socks.
Okay.
I had, some Dragon Balls on there. I had Goku on there. Dude, I was lit. I was so happy. Thank you. Shout out to my mom for that.
Nice.
Yes.
So, okay, babe, anything you want to share about Valentine's or couples or marriage?
Yeah, I mean,
Lovey-dovey.
back to the love languages. You and Willy touched on it.
So what are the love languages? What is it?
So, how you feel loved. So, for example, there's 5, of course. So there's words of affirmation, where you tell your significant other or a person that you, for example, if they did something for you, it's like, oh, you did that great. Like you're always, not always complimenting. It's like a genuine, how would you say it? Like
Comment, a genuine feeling, like you're expressing your how you feel.
Right.
Yeah. So to give you guys context, there's a book out there called The 5 Love Languages. It's written by Dr. I forgot who.
It's
what his name
Chapman.
is. Chapman, yes. And there's 5. The first one is words of affirmation, like she said.
Yes.
I'm a words guy.
Yeah.
Natalie has it easy. All she has to do is tell me that she loves me, and I feel loved. That makes me feel loved. Hey, thanks for changing the oil on the car. Hey, thanks for, I don't know, cooking breakfast today. Like just acknowledging something little that I did. Hey, thanks for mopping the floor today. Like something, I'm like, okay, boom, check mark. I'm good. So that's words, right? You just offer, man, babe, you look good today. And with the panza and everything, it's okay. Just acknowledge it,
Right.
The second one is gifts. The third one is acts of service. Like when you do something, believe it or not, there's people that feel loved by
Helping them do the laundry
helping them do the laundry, helping them do dishes
around the house. Mm-hmm.
Just take out the trash. Just
That you help them do that because
like
they
you
don't
do
do that.
Yeah,
Okay.
like you do something,
Yeah.
whether it's for them or just in general,
Okay.
and that makes them feel loved.
So when I help pick up around the house, is that love language or no?
Oh yeah,
Is
definitely.
that-
I love it.
Yeah.
It's acts of service. Like,
Okay.
oh, you mopped today.
Yeah.
Wow, I feel loved, right? And in the book, it's a cool book because you take a test and it asks you, I think, like 50 different questions, and then it helps you identify what your love language is. So there's that, and then there's physical touch. People feel loved when you touch them. So it's like, I just want you to hug me. I just want you to cuddle with me. I just want you to hold my hand. I just want you to touch my face. I just want you to kiss me a lot. Obviously, sex, that's everybody's love language, right? For sure. But there's moments where, and guys, I'll admit, some guys are, very guilty of this. It's if you start being touchy with your wife, she immediately is like, you want to have sex.
Yeah.
And you don't want to get there. You want, hey, like I want to hold your hand because I want to hold your hand, or I want to cuddle with you because I want to cuddle with you. It doesn't mean that I want something in return.
Yeah.
Right?
That's very true.
Yeah, I mean, my love language is physical touch. So whenever sometimes we get busy and he doesn't give me a hug or touch me, and I'm like, how come you're
What
not
the
doing
heck?
that?
Yeah.
Like, what's going on?
Just a peck.
Yeah.
But then,
Yeah.
we'll be, let's say it's a chill night, right? And we're just hanging out, watching a movie. She'll lay her, I'll be sitting down. She'll get comfortable on my lap. And then I'll start like doing like piojito.
Yes.
And she absolutely
Y'all
like,
Hispanics will know what piojito
I'm like,
is.
man, I'm the opposite. I want to lay down on her lap and her give me pito.
yeah, I don't know. But that's for her, she melts. She's like, oh, this is amazing. Or like a massage.
Yeah.
Or, just anything that has to do with touch. Like that fills her love language. So now I know how to make her feel loved, even though physical touch for me is not necessarily a love language.
Yeah.
I'm a very, in Spanish, it's caloroso, but in English, it's like, I get hot very easy.
Yeah.
So like whether it's especially in the summer, but even in the winter, when we're laying down together, for bedtime, I'm like, oh, get away. Give me my space. I need my space, because if she gets even remotely close, I start getting really hot and really uncomfortable.
So opposites attract. That's literally the definition. 'Cause
Literally.
she wants to be cuddled and you almost don't. Or
Well, I mean, not in
you
that
have
sense, but
you have your moments.
yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, for me, it's not, for me, it's literally just a comfort thing of a temperature thing.
Yeah.
Like I get hot very fast. So if she's close to me and I start getting hot, I'm not comfortable. And then I
okay.
can't sleep, We'll have moments, and babe, I mean, you jump in anytime you want. Like we'll cuddle, and like we'll, start drifting off to sleep or whatever. And then that's it. Like that's all I remember. And then when I wake up, I'm on the court. I'm on the edge, man. But that was already unintentional, just
Yeah.
my...
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, you communicate that with me, because at first I was like, what's going on? Why are you going away on the opposite side of the bed? And it's like, do you not love me?
Yeah.
But no, I mean, he communicated. That's the key word. Communicated with me and told me, I'm like this. I get very hot easily. And I'm like, oh, okay. Well, that's all you had to do or say,
Yeah. Just communicate crystal clear, what's going on, so that there's no assumptions being made.
Right.
Right. So on that subject, let's chat about some don'ts. And this is not necessarily like Valentine's, specific, but again, we admire your guys. We admire your guys' marriage. We admire your guys' family and your relationship. We've known you for a long time. So, and feel free to jump in on any of these, okay? But this is again not specific Valentine's related. This is just in general. If you want a happy marriage, don't do this. Number 1, don't go to sleep without a loving gesture, or don't sleep in different rooms. For example, if you guys get in a fight, right? Couples fight, marriages fight, happy marriages fight. Oh my gosh.
God.
Yeah. Yeah. We all
Yeah.
fight, guys. We're human, right?
We fight the most.
Yeah. Like we were duking it out right now. No.
Yeah.
So everybody fights, everybody argues, but you have to learn how to fight. I think that's
Yes.
another episode, teaching couples how to fight properly. Like there is a right way to engage.
Not necessarily punches.
No,
throwing.
not physical.
Yeah, no physical fighting.
Zero. Yeah.
Right.
No, fellas, if you touch your woman, you know, in an angry way other than you're not a man. But anyways, that's not you don't hit women. So don't, go to sleep. Do not go to sleep without a loving gesture. So let's say we get in a fight. Let me give you an example. We get in a fight. It's a big old argument or whatever, and it's bedtime. You want to go, first, don't sleep in separate rooms. That's going to destroy your marriage long term. But second, when you lay down in the bed and you, at that moment, man, you can't stand that person. You can't stand your spouse, but you still say, I love you, because you do. I'm very mad at you right now, but I still love you. Right? So a loving gesture, just say it like, hey, I love you. I love you too, whatever. Or just give each other a peck, just something. But you never want to go to sleep like mad, right? You want to, kind of deal with it later or whatever. But you always want to at least acknowledge, hey, I love you, right?
Definitely.
Number 2, do not have separate finances.
Oh, yeah.
Man, I think I'm going to step on some callos here.
Oh, for sure.
Because I know couples that get married and they have separate accounts, separate bank accounts. They never join finances, so they don't know what each other spends. I know, babe, when we got together, that was like a huge thing for you. Like you don't want to combine.
For sure. I mean, but because it goes back to how I grew up, my mom was like, "You never join accounts. Like you keep your money is your money and his money is his money. Never combine." And I'm like, okay, that's normal. And then when we got together and we got married, and he's like, one thing we're gonna do is combine accounts. And I'm like, heck no. Like, that's my money. You're not going to mess with it. I worked hard for it.
Could that be, I think, almost an each to your own, or would it be a very staple, move to do? So our accounts are together. Mm-hmm. If I didn't have one, she had one, my money went in there, our money, sorry, babe. Our money went in there. But if I didn't have an account, it was hers. Obviously, checks went in there. If I had an account, it's our money going into that one and all and stuff. So we've never really had separate accounts. If we do right now, it's more like this is a credit card. This is yours. You use this to spend whatever, and at the end of the month, we'll replenish it or whatever. But is it almost an each to your own thing, or do you guys think having the same accounts in general is a very life or marriage saving thing? Is that
1,000%?
Okay.
1,000%. Like if couples or when couples come to us asking us, for marriage advice or whatnot, we do ask that question. Or, do you have one bank account for the both of you, or do you each have your own accounts and you quote unquote help each other with the bills? Yeah. And here's why. Because in Genesis 2:24 it says, "Therefore a man shall leave his father and mother and hold fast to his wife, and they shall become one flesh." So when you marry, in the eyes of God, you're now one. There is no my money and your money. There's our money. This is our house. This is our children. This is our marriage. So
just like the debt. I mean, when we got married too, you might have, I think you had we both had school loans, mm-hmm. and that's both of our debts. And we were going to work towards paying off those debts, Yeah. Not just like, oh, you're responsible in paying your debt. Like, I have nothing to do with it. Like, no, it's both of your guys'. So
yeah, it's, because we have heard that too. It's like, oh, we got married and, oh, guess what? You married $100,000 in debt now.
Yeah. Because
of student loans. And you're like, what? I didn't know you owed that much, so, but that could be another episode of, some premarital stuff to talk about, right? It's those uncomfortable conversations, but they need to be had.
Oh, heck yeah. Especially for finances.
So finances for sure. I think God blesses that, man. When you are one and you treat everything as one, there's blessing for that. So don't have separate finances, because why should I hide what I spend from my wife? Yeah. Why shouldn't she be able to see everywhere that I'm swiping my card? Yeah. And vice versa. It's like, this is our money. This is our house. We pay everything together, right? So you become one flesh. So just a a recommendation from a happily married couple, and it's a very frequent piece of advice that is given.
Definitely. Like, I totally agree on that one more too, because that one can also cause a fight, but it'll have you guys agree on why you fought about it. So then it brings up a healthy conversation of the reason why.
Right.
So, like, obviously we have access to the account. So I'm like, you spent how much at Target? Why did you spend that much at Target?
Right.
Because Target told me to.
So
it was a sale?
But then at that point you can sit down and have that conversation of, hey, I understand the reels, the memes making fun of. We go to Target, you're gonna go spend $20 and you come out spending $200.
Right.
But it can also bring on the conversation of, we need to be healthy spending too. We can't go overboard. Go for what you need and then come back. The same way around for the husband too. Like, obviously it's typical for us to think that the women are always going to go and spend like crazy. But I think some men might have that problem as well. Like, I don't ever like to go to Target. I don't like to go to Walmart. I don't like to go to any of those stores. I like to go to the shoe store. That's it. Go in, go out. But
we know what we want. We know what we want.
Yeah, literally, man. If I am going to go to Walmart,
walk out, boom.
I know what I need. If I know I'm going to go in there for hair stuff, I'm not going to go end up in the steak aisle.
Right.
Because I know I love steak and I'm going to end up coming out with a bunch of steak. So I go to the hair product aisle, go get my hair product, go to the register, leave. That's it. And then I come back and she's like, oh, that was quick. That was like 10 minutes. Well, I went to go get what I needed and I came back. That was it. But it also brings up a very healthy conversation of how you can also spend correctly as a couple.
Right.
So definitely agreed on that.
Yeah. And especially in your line of work, man, because you're a very successful real estate agent and you have to touch all right, guys, finances.
Yes.
You can't buy a house with, your finances in the gutter.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. If I'm going to be out here preaching about your credit score, your financing, what you're spending, what you shouldn't do, what you should do, then I should also be in that same order. I should know and I should be coming in from experience.
Right. 100%.
Definitely.
So another don't is never, ever, ever de-edify your spouse to anyone. Ever. And especially family. We touched on that last conversation.
Yeah.
But guys, you just never speak negative of your spouse. It doesn't matter how upset you are at that moment. It doesn't matter. Does it feel good to vent in the moment? Yes. But is it worth it though? And be careful of who you're talking to about your spouse in the first place. And that's the next don't. Number 4, never vent to the opposite sex about your issues.
Oh yeah, heck yeah. Definitely.
I read a statistic saying that the number one place that people that cheat find that person that they cheated with is at work.
Literally.
And how do those conversations start? It's
by de-edifying your couple.
You start edifying your husband, you start edifying your wife, and man, she said this and this and that. And those ears, and it's very unfortunate, man. There's people that don't respect the marriage, right? There's people that are after. I didn't even know that this was a thing, but that there's people that are actually attracted to married people.
Okay.
So it's a thing.
It's an actual thing, and you can Google it. There's people that if they see a marriage ring, guy or girl, it automatically boosts them up 10 points.
Is there a name for that? Come on, Art.
I know. I'm sure there is.
Yeah.
I don't have it.
I'll look it up.
Yeah.
No, that's interesting though to hear. Definitely. Yeah. I used to work at ADP. Remember?
Oh yeah.
2015 was my last year there.
Yep.
But I was in customer service my entire life, pretty much. So from 18 till 2015, I don't know how old I was at that point. I'm not gonna say it. But I saw a lot of that going on where I knew people in certain groups were obviously already married, and then we'd go to the lunchroom and I'm like, well, he's sitting with that girl now. And then all of a sudden they're together and then they're having kids. And I'm like, dang, what happened? Like, because I was there about 9 years. So I witnessed a lot of stuff that was going on. I don't want to, obviously I already said ADP, but it's literally in the workplace where you start seeing that because you confided in the wrong person, I want to say. It doesn't mean you can't confide in everybody. You can confide in certain people. Right. There's certain people that don't have bad intentions at all.
Right.
But you start talking to somebody about something that's of the opposite sex, and then that person gets attracted to you.
Right.
And then you just delve into something deeper and darker that you didn't want to be in the first place.
Right.
And that usually does happen at work.
Right.
Definitely, man. I saw it a lot in customer service.
Yeah, everywhere, man. Any call center, and I'm sure we'll get I'm sure we're gonna get comments
Not
on
to
this.
say names.
We're not gonna say any names.
Yeah. I was like, dang, can I say one? Just
No. But dude, more than likely, if you worked in a call center, unless you were blind, you saw some,
yeah,
some flirting and some this and that, and it's like, I know you're married, bro. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Or girls too,
Yeah.
Same.
Yeah, because if she's having a bad time with her husband, for example, and then she starts venting to a guy that's on the prowl, do you really think? I mean, and I'm very sorry to throw the guys under the bus, but it's true, man. Let's call it what it is.
Yeah.
His best intentions are not to keep you married.
Exactly.
He's gonna say, "Man, you're right. He is a jerk."
You shouldn't be treated like that.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Or girls too, like, "Oh, she doesn't cook for you, really?"
Right.
And then the next day, "Oh, look, I
brought you.
I just happened to make some extra enchiladas for you."
Oh,
and,
love language.
and
bro.
you're like, "Oh, really? Well, thanks." And then
That's how it starts.
and
Right.
that's how it starts, man. It's always those little things.
Good
So
point.
you never do that. Number 5, never insult each other.
Okay.
Even being sarcastic, right? So, I think it's a lot of the Mexican culture too, where, gorda, pues esto, pues, la flaca y hace esto, or, ¿cómo estás mensa? Like, I'm just kidding, babe. But, I read this, and this is a fact. You know how we have a conscious mind?
Mm-hmm.
We have a subconscious, and your subconscious cannot tell the difference between the truth and sarcasm.
Okay.
Yeah. Your subconscious mind does not know the difference, literally. So we have to be careful in the way we speak to our spouses. And whenever we're fighting, because we do fight, never insult each other. Like, just stay focused on the issue. Okay, what is the issue? It's not you versus me.
Yeah.
It's you and me versus the problem.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't start insulting each other. You spent $500 at Best Buy, menso, and ¿cómo estás? This and that. Or, yeah,
The beep.
the beep. Yeah.
Instead of saying that.
I was like, hey, go for it, babe. If you feel, go for it. So I don't know if you guys have anything to add on that.
For that, for sure. We've definitely gone through that. We have. I'm a very sarcastic person, super sarcastic. We've gone to the point where, and this is kind of contradictory to what you're saying, but I do agree with the point. And we were literally just talking about this on the way over here. This is going to sound super weird. My brothers know it too. We like to insult each other in a funny way. We do it all the time. We really do. We're not out here cussing at each other. We're not none of that stuff or whatever, but we have little funny names that we call each other every once in a while. There's things that we make fun of each other, in regards to, but what we have understood throughout the time is you definitely don't want to end up using the beeps, using the bad words against each other. You don't want to disrespect yourself and especially if you're going to do it in front of your kids, you start doing it in front of your kids, then they think it's okay to say things like that. And that's the whole, it starts at home. It also transfers over to your kids. They start thinking that certain words are okay when, as a kid, they're sponges. You start hearing your parents say one specific word to each other all the time. Even if you're just playing around, they'll pick that up and then they'll say it outside of the house. They definitely will. Now, we haven't experienced that yet with any of our kids, calling people names or anything like that. We haven't experienced that yet.
At least not around us that we haven't
not
heard.
around us or anything that they got in trouble. The teacher was like, hey, your kid called this person this. And I'm like, well, I wonder where you got that from. And then we look at each other very awkwardly, But we have, I don't know if maybe that's our love language, is insulting each other in a very funny way. But I understand to the point of, don't do it while you're fighting. Don't do it while you're arguing, because you're definitely going to say something that you're going to regret. You don't want to start with the beeps. You don't want to start with the insults. You don't want to degrade somebody. You don't want to down somebody, because it'll get worse. It'll definitely get worse. So we've learned that in our marriage. We've obviously been married for a very long time, so we're not perfect. And there's times that we've done it. There's times that we've messed up. There's times that we've done it on purpose to hurt each other. So again,
Definitely.
You learn. Dang. She's like, yeah, I've called you a couple of bleeps. Sorry. But, go ahead.
No, I was agreeing with you.
No. Well, there's obviously we're not perfect, so there's times that we have done it. So it's not to say that you're not ever not gonna do it, you know. But you can control your actions. You can control your mouth. What you want to do as a couple is you want to speak life into your couple. You want to speak life into your spouse. There's a scripture in regards to your tongue is, I can't get it right now, but there's a scripture about that where, you know, your tongue can speak death. It really can. You start demeaning your spouse, and you do it on a daily basis. You do it on a weekly basis. And you know, you might not think that you're doing it as many times as you are, whatever, but, that can end your marriage. You may not be somebody that is a aggressive person in regards to physically or anything like that. But if you mentally break down a person, that can also end your marriage. And at some point you start thinking,
Words are very powerful.
Words are very powerful. Speak life into each other, man. Definitely.
Yeah. I remember there's one of my favorite movies is called Seven. Old school movie, Brad Pitt and Morgan Freeman.
Yes.
So there's a scene where he's coming home from work and Gwyneth Paltrow is his wife. And he comes home and he's like, hey idiot. And they peck and she's like, hi stupid.
Okay.
And I was like, I don't agree with that, man. Not even a bit, you know, and they think they're saying it in a loving way.
Yeah.
But man, it's just, you know,
And
why would you call your wife stupid?
Yeah, for sure.
And why would you call your husband back idiot?
Yeah.
You know? Do we do stupid and idiot things sometimes? Absolutely.
Definitely.
But don't say it out loud. And words, you say them and you can't take them back. Like that person, you might have 20 years later, you're still going to remember what he told you, what he said. So or she said. So yeah, don't say those things that you're later going to regret.
Yeah, it's kind of like playing with fire. So, you know, it's better to, when in doubt, leave it out, right? The next one, attack each other. Do not attack each other. Just attack the issue. Excuse me. Do not. We're talking about the do nots. So do not attack each other, just the issue. This is something that for sure Natalie and I had to learn at first, because when she would fight back on something, I felt attacked, and vice versa. If I was disagreeing, she would take it personal, and we were like, it was tough to get on the same page.
Yeah.
And it took multiple sessions with a third party, you know, with our go-to couple that we talked about last time, to say, hey guys, it's because you're attacking each other. How about you get on the same side? Stop sitting across the table, sit next to each other on the table, and then attack the issue together.
Definitely.
Right? Put your heads together and how can we overcome this issue in our marriage, right?
That ends up taking over, I think, the conversation, just starting to attack each other. You start attacking to each other, you forget what you were initially going to go converse about, and ends up being an argument.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah. I remember going to a pastor one time. We were, you know, we all have those 911 moments where we're like, man, we need help like now.
Yes.
And I remember calling a pastor. He said, come over, and we sit down, and he's like, before you guys start telling me, you know, what the issue is, can you tell me what the last argument was about? And that threw me off guard. And then I was thinking really hard, and I look at her and I was like, what was the last thing we argued about, honestly? And we just looked at each other like confused, and we're like, we don't know. We can't remember. And he says, exactly.
Dang. Okay.
It's irrelevant.
For sure.
And then the lesson that I learned that day with that guy, he goes, look, you could either be right or you can be happy. But sometimes you can't be both.
Yeah.
So what do you prefer? And I was like, dang, well, I'd rather be happy, you know? So, and then he also, there's a saying that says you can't feed your ego and your family at the same time.
Yeah, definitely.
You could be right, but what good is you being right if your marriage sucks?
Definitely.
But you're right, you know?
And that's something that I think, if I can project on that,
Yeah.
that's something that I'm still learning. Who doesn't like to be right? Who doesn't like to be right? I enjoy being right. I really do. I love to research a lot of things. I like to look at a lot of articles. I like to be very informed. So it's something that I'm currently learning right now, but who's teaching me a lot, and obviously my wife's taught me that too, but who's teaching me that a lot right now is my daughter. My daughter's teaching me that in regards to, you don't always have to be right, Dad. If I'm going to tell you something, it's because I researched it too, because I'm a little bit of you. So you don't think I've researched it? You don't think so I don't know what we were doing. We were driving somewhere. And she literally said something like that. She's like, you're not always right, right? And I was like, whoa, wow. That would be like, so that was a very teachable moment.
Yeah.
I didn't stay quiet. Obviously, this is just, I think, my nature. But in her saying that, and then while she was telling me why she was right, why she researched something or whatever, while she was talking to me, I was in another world thinking to myself, my daughter just told me you don't always have to be right. Mm-hmm. But it brings me back to your point. Would you rather be right or would you rather be happy? Because I feel in separate situations where I've pushed my agenda, where I've said, this is what it's going to be. You do that because of pride. Mm-hmm. You really do. Right. And it's not always the right thing. Mm-hmm. And I've learned that with my kids, where my kids have, and it's not talking back. They don't have a problem with like talking back a lot. Obviously they have, they're young, they're teenagers or whatever, but they like to educate just like as well as I do. Mm. And then I've seen myself, I'll look at Esme and I'm like, man, I know where I get it from. Yeah. I know where they get it from. And I'm just, you see yourself in them. Right. And you have to remember, they will act as you act. They'll do as you do. They'll say as you say. Yeah. So again, that's when it comes back to, I know they're older now, but at any age as a kid, you're a sponge and you reflect on that. So either you're right or you're happy. Yep. And you saying that right now is making me reflect on certain things. So that's awesome.
Yeah, man.
I like that.
There's a book out there called How to Win Friends and Influence People. And one of the chapters is called You Can't Win an Argument. Because it's an amazing point that he makes. He goes, let's say you do win the argument. Okay, you might have won the argument, but now the person that you won against, you've hurt their ego. You've hurt their pride. Yeah. And because you proved them wrong, and now that relationship is now tainted anyways. And now they feel, you're making them feel less. Remember that people are very egocentric, right? They're very prideful sometimes. And like you said, people enjoy being right. Mm-hmm. So knowing that, it's like, okay, you know what? Let's say that I know you're wrong. I'm still going to say, okay, man, cool. Because here's what I know is, this is a point that the book is making, is that person is going to eventually find out that they're wrong about that same thing on their own. Yeah. So you can just let them think that they're, on the high horse or whatever, keep the relationship, let them find out on their own. And now you're still friends. And then later they're going to come back and say, dang, remember that one thing? I was wrong. Yeah, I was wrong. Yeah. And you're like, you don't say.
I've had a lot of those instances where you're thinking about what are you talking about? You're like, oh, crap.
Yeah. Or, like going back to the de-edifying each other, let's say, hey, did you know that the annual rainfall in Brazil is 17.56 inches? And your wife is like, no, it's 18.2 inches. It's like, does it really matter, dude? Like, really? Brazil. It's like, you gotta, you know what I mean? Yeah. So there's just things that, whatever, right? Just be happy.
Yeah, choose your battle.
Choose to be happy.
Right. Choose your battle. Yeah. So the next one, I think this was a big one. Do not ever use your children against one another. How many times, and I'm telling you because we've talked to several couples, struggling through things. This goes deep. This is based on emotional immaturity. I sounded super Mexican. Emotional?
I heard emoji.
Emotional?
Emoji?
Emotional immaturity on the parents' part. But it's like, you get in a fight but now you feel vulnerable and now you need somebody to take your side. So now you go whisper to your children, sí, pero es que tu papá está menso. Or no, it's because you know what? It's because your dad is, or no, it's because you know what? It's because your mom does this and that and this and that. Why would you even do that? You're like poisoning your own well. Yeah. Right? Never, try to use your children against your spouse.
I think that's something that happens a lot here. And I think anybody can generalize their city. Oh, that happens a lot in Denver. Happens a lot in, but in El Paso, I think it's a very, and I've seen this on Facebook. I've seen this on social media. It's drown your baby mama, drown your baby daddy. So you're like publicly shaming them but these people have their kids on there as well. And I'm like, man, your kids are of age now. They also have social media, and they're publicly like shaming the dad. The dad didn't come pick up my kid. Well, how many times has he came on time? How many times, you know what I'm saying? Like, I know it goes against that, but, that one's very, very, very damning. Very, very, very damning.
Right.
Because then the kid grows up thinking exactly how you did. Right. If in most cases, definitely 99.9% of the time, you're wrong. You're very wrong.
Yeah.
And thinking that. And then they start taking that baggage on themselves.
Yeah. And then, once they get smart enough, they're like, wait a minute, you try to put my mindset against my own mom or against my own dad. How dare you?
Yeah.
I was a little kid. You were trying to take advantage of my mental ignorance and not being naive, Right. And now you're just trying to make me see your side of things, but you didn't tell me how big of an idiot you were being.
Yeah, definitely.
You know,
that's huge.
It's like you only give me one side.
Yeah.
So it's not even fair. So yeah, just that is a huge no, guys. Don't ever, ever, ever vent to your children about your marriage, because it's not even fair.
Yeah, you're setting them up for trauma later on, or trauma, like from experience myself. That happened with my mom. She didn't have any friends, and she me being the oldest, she would confide in me, and she would tell me things of my dad doing, and I'm just like 8 years old, 7 years old, and I'm like,
that makes you hit your dad almost.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Or I thought that all men were like my dad.
Like that.
So yeah, don't do that to your children.
It's so bad.
You're hurting them so bad. It's not funny.
Like legit, I don't even think I ever. Something obviously I will try to remember, but I don't think my parents never did that. Ever. They hardly ever fought in front of us. Obviously there's always arguments and all that stuff. Sometimes you're in the same household, they're going to be in the next room or something like that. But they were very adamant about that. They're very about not. That also comes back to you're speaking life and death into your children, because they start hearing the arguments that you're having, and they start getting that hate. They start hearing what you're hearing about your dad, about your mom, about if anything, if they did wrong, then you're like, man, well, this person does this all the time. This person does that. So my parents actually were very, very, very intentional with not fighting in front of us, with not, very, and I thank them for that for sure. Definitely. Because then you start having different opinions of what your father or your mother is because of certain specific fights. And it could have been only that one time. And then you start thinking, that's just how they are. That's just how they are.
Right. Especially in the moment, and people are angry and they're going to say things that they shouldn't have, or they're going to regret. But in the moment, they don't care. And you just, you just go at it.
Yeah. Now, at the same time, I think it is healthy for them for children to witness what, healthy disagreements between couples. That's also healthy too, because you don't want your kids thinking that all fighting and all disagreeing is bad, because then they're going to have that misconception. And when it does happen in their relationships, they're going to freak out, because they're going to be like, oh my gosh, this is not supposed to be happening right now.
Yeah.
This is terrible, So I know our boys have seen us fight multiple times, but we've never been disrespectful to each other. Right. We raise our voice, our tone changes, obviously, and we're saying, yeah, babe, but it's because this, or no, it's because of that, or whatever. And, they do kind of break that, and, we're not speaking, right? And it's like a super silent car ride, those. And they're like, are you guys okay? And we tell them, yeah, we're okay. We just disagreed about something, and it's okay to disagree, guys.
Yeah.
Like it's fine, so we're indirectly kind of showing them how to handle, or, how we are handling our conflicts. Are we perfect? No. Could we have done a couple things better? Yeah. But, we also don't paint the picture of, hey, we never fight. Like we never.
Exactly.
Right?
Oh, for sure.
Anything you want to? Okay. Number 8, do not seek counsel or help from people with no fruit. We touched on that on the first episode. You wouldn't go like, you vent to your coworker, hey man, my girl's tripping. Dude, leave her. Let's go to the bar after work and, drink our problems away. But you are also on your 7th divorce. Why should I listen to you?
You
know?
can learn what not to do from them.
Yeah, it's like,
Definitely.
oh, let me listen to what not to do here. Or, just people that are maybe married but not happy.
Yeah.
Or whatever. Just you want to seek the fruit. Be a fruit inspector.
Definitely.
Is this someone? I've heard the saying, don't take advice from someone that you wouldn't trade places with.
Okay. I like that one.
So do I like their marriage? Do I like the way they parent their children? Do I like where they're at in life? Do I like the way they whatever together, blah, blah, blah. If so, okay, I'll listen to you. Right? But if you don't have fruit, how can I, listen to you? Like everybody and their mother knows how to lose weight. So the knowledge is there, but are you applying it?
Exactly.
And if you're applying it, then I can listen to you because you know what it takes, right? But technically we all know, right? We all know keto works, but do we,
Do it.
all do it? So anyways, number 9, never withdraw physically or emotionally from your spouse. Never withdraw physically or emotionally, because when there's no needs being met at home, then those needs need to get met somewhere. And that I think goes back to the work thing.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, well, my spouse doesn't pay attention to me at home, but X person here on the office is paying attention to me. So I'm going to feed that need. Right? Don't withdraw emotionally. Like, dude, babe, back at you. Like when you were talking about communication, I think communicating your emotions and how certain things make you feel.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, not assuming that your husband or wife are going to know that you're upset because he didn't put the toilet seat down. Not assuming and having that open communication, like tell him, like it might be a big deal for me. It might not be for you, but still communicate it and be like, you know what, this made me feel this way because you did this. Yeah. Be
crystal clear. Like, you know what, when you spend 5 hours a day on Instagram, it makes me feel like I'm not here.
Yeah.
It makes me feel invisible, and I'm sitting right next to you, but you're glued on your phone, and it makes me feel this way, in that way. And then you talk about it and you talk through it. Right?
Yeah.
That's a good topic. Social media just in general sometimes.
Ooh, right.
That could go. Literally. That's another one. Yeah. Number 10, don't ignore the elephant in the room. If something happened, don't just,
oh yeah,
fill in the blank, right?
Yeah, literally. That one's a good one, more for the fact that we do that all the time for us. It's more, so you can't leave something in it. You can't leave it out. You can't just forget about it, because it'll come back at some point. It'll come back, and it'll come back a lot more magnified. It'll come back bigger. So we've been very advocative. I don't know if that's the right word. Of then about taking a bite out of the problem now. Let's make sure that we dive into it now. I know a lot of people will be like, no, because you're angry at the moment, because at this and that. Well, honestly, for the amount of time that we have in, I know we're angry, but there's times where we're like, you know what? Because we're not going to talk about it later, and then it's going to get bigger later. So
have you let it build inside of you, or you let the problem build in itself? It can be dangerous, I believe.
Yeah, definitely. That's the worst, more for the fact that again, this is coming from couples that have a lot of time in. If you don't have a lot of time in, this is the advice that we like to give. You don't have to necessarily take it. There's a lot of sayings, there's a lot of cliches that are out there. Exactly what I just mentioned. The whole, you should calm down and deal with it later on. I get that. We've done that. We have done that. But what is going to work for you is going to work for you. It might not work for somebody else. We've done that off and on, but there's been times where maybe I didn't address a certain problem. Things that I've done that obviously have hurt my wife. And we let it run. We didn't say anything about it. And I'm like, just forget about it. She'll be over it the very next day. And honestly, we are quote unquote over it the next day, but it's still there. Mm-hmm. And then about a week later, the same thing happens. We do the same thing. Week later, same thing happens. We let it go. You let it go. We've had instances where at some point you blow up. Every couple's going to have that at some point, whatever the problem's going to be. You're going to end up blowing up. And that's when things that you don't want to say will be said. That's when everything that we've just said now, the don'ts, the everything, is going to go in that one argument. And sometimes that is the make or break argument where people are like, I'm done. I don't know if, and then that's when you should go talk to the people that can help mend that. But we've been very good about, okay, we need to talk about this now. Right. You know, whether we're mad or not, I know how to control my anger. She knows how to control her anger. We know how to say, hey, chill out. Let's both chill out. Let's talk about it. We'll park in a parking lot somewhere, obviously, so that way we're not driving and going crazy in the road. We've stopped. We've talked about it. And even if we're still mad at each other, we're like, okay, we good? All right, we're good. Yeah. You look at each other and you know, all right, we're good. Right. Move on with your day, you know? But then it comes back to the whole, you know, the opposite. Do you want to, we did that in the beginning. We've still done it a couple times where it's like, I am super angry at you or at me. And it's like, we'll talk about this later, you know, because depending on what subject hits you the most, sometimes, you do want to let some steam or you want to cool down. Right. My thing, and I think just because I like driving, I'll go take a drive. I'll go take a drive. I don't go create road rage. I go sit somewhere. Yeah, literally, bro. Right. My thing is, I do like to, I'm a real estate agent. I drive all the time. I'm not tired of driving. So I'll go take a drive. I'll take the Bronco off and go off-roading.
Well, you can't do that anymore.
Well, yeah. But I'll go and just relieve the mental stress, let it just run out. And then as soon as it runs out, I'll come back home. You know your couple. If I sit at the table, I come back with a coffee, I'll bring her a coffee. She'll look at me and I'll look at her and I'll be like, do you want to talk about it now? Or are we good? You'll know. You already know. When you have as much time in as we have.
I'll be like, let me drink my coffee first and I'll think about it.
Oh, for sure. Double shot.
Hey,
Double
that's
shot
valid.
with the espresso. And I'm like, hey, she's going to need it. So work, you're going to have to work with what works best for you for sure. So try different things out. Right. If you have a certain amount of time, again, and I know I've mentioned that 20,000 times, but we have 17 years of marriage and we have tried different things. We've tried things that other couples have told us, that my parents have told us, that her parents have told us. That comes back to the whole, you know, we know when we're going to allow people to come in and tell us, hey, we need some help. And we know that you guys have gone through this. We go to the couples that we know are experienced in what we're about to ask them. So, try different things. Try different things to try to calm down. Different ways of explaining things to each other. The insulting definitely needs to just stop completely, because then you just go into you can be arguing about one thing. As soon as you start insulting each other, it goes in a completely different direction.
Right.
Oh, yeah,
literally.
for sure.
You were trying to drive to Las Vegas and you ended up in New York.
Oh, heck yeah. Yeah. And you forgot about the problem that's going to come rearing back
right
in a month from now.
You never addressed the issue.
Yeah, ever. So, I like that last point.
Yeah.
So
definitely.
I have a comment to make. Oh, I was just thinking right now. What happens when one is understanding that you don't want to talk about it in the moment, but the other one's like, no, we need to talk about it now. No. But the other person wants to walk away, like, no, chill out. Let me chill out. But the other person's still going at it.
Dang, that's like you and me.
What do you do then?
I mean, that's an awesome point, Esme, because that was Art and I before.
To the T.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah. I was the one like, I want to fight you. And well, I mean, at one point it was, I want to fight you, but I was like, you know what? Confrontation. I'm out. Deuces. And that would make him so mad.
Yeah. As soon as I said something that made her upset, most of the time, I would say 9 times out of 10, when an argument arises, she starts the argument, right? So she'll vent and she'll let me have it. Raw, right? Everything that happened and everything, the way I messed up or whatever, And then I'm like, okay, now it's my turn. this and this and this and that. But I as soon as I'm finishing point 1 and ready to jump into point 2, she's like, I don't want to hear it, and walks away.
Oh, okay.
And I'm like,
But you've never already talked, but she
Exactly.
doesn't want you
Like,
to talk.
I took this
Exactly.
deep breath and I was ready. And she's whatever. And she took and walked away. And I was like, bro, you can't leave me like this.
And I did that a lot of years because I didn't know, like, again, trauma. Like, I would see fighting with my parents and I'm like, yeah, no. So I would feel, I guess, attacked. And I was like, nope, deuces. Like, I'm out. I don't want to hear about it. Like, la, 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 la. I can only complain about my problems and you can't complain about what you have to say.
Right.
And until we talked to some friends and they're like,
We got help.
both of you are wrong. And I learned how to communicate to Art and tell him, you know what? I'm really heated right now. I can't talk. I'm going to say something that I'm going to regret. Give me some time. Give me 15 minutes. Go to my room, chill out, and be like, I'm ready to talk. And even if the other significant other doesn't want to, it's like you have to make your relationship work.
Definitely.
We met in the middle, to answer your question, Esme, is we have to compromise. So I think successful couples learn how to fight. I think this is, man, this is a part 3 now. You guys have to drive all the way over here again. Learn how to fight. And that is part of the communication. It's, you know what? If I go at it with you right now, to that person that's like, no, we need to talk about it right now. We need to solve it right now. It's like, look, if we do, I'm going to say a lot of stuff that I don't mean. Please just give me some time to cool off. Can you please do that? And then we can talk about it. And that person has to be mature enough emotionally to say, okay, let's.
Yeah.
Right? And whether that person knows it or not, they're doing themselves a favor because now they can be cool-headed and attack the issue together. And now they're not, fighting just to fight, like you said, Willie.
Definitely.
So yeah, we went through that a lot, man, and it took a lot of learning. We had, again, we had an outside perspective with the couple always. That's a big recommendation is, when you're going through it, man, and you need help, and a lot of people have the mindset, I think guys more, like, why am I going to tell someone else my issues? They're not blah, blah, blah. Again, it's your pride, dude. It's your ego. Clearly, if you keep fighting and you feel like you guys are done, how has that worked out so far? Trying to solve it on your own, how has that helped so far?
Yeah.
So guess what? It's time for an outside perspective from someone that has fruit. So you bring them in, right? You spill out the beans in a safe environment. It's a healthy environment. It's a healthy person or couple, preferably a couple. And they'll tell you, okay, this is what it is.
That's a good point. Preferably a couple.
Yeah.
A single person might think very, 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 very differently than obviously what a couple does. That's actually that should be a pinpoint.
Yeah.
Good point.
And then the last point that I have here is don't watch porn.
Yes, definitely.
Don't watch porn. Sex was made by God to be enjoyed within the marriage. And porn is just destructive. Not just physically, because there's studies. There's a porn quitting program that's called Yavasta. Something that I went through, and I took, because I first saw my first Playboy magazine when I was like 8 years old. I found a stash of my dad's, and every time he'd go to work, I already knew where his stash was, and I was living in all my glory. You should see Esme; she's cracking up right now. I was like, "OMG, this is amazing!" But then, without knowing it, by like 12, 13, 14 years old, I was pretty much hooked, and it becomes a literal addiction.
Okay.
By 18, 19, it was bad. Like, I had to watch it. But that desensitizes what sex should be, right?
Different expectations.
It's a spiritual union between a man and wife, and what happens is you start objectifying a woman, and now you just see her as a piece of meat versus a loving daughter of God or someone's daughter. You know what I mean? So besides destroying your brain, it literally, so that's what I was getting to. There's studies that porn addiction will literally rewire your brain.
Yes.
And for those of you that are into all these, murder mystery shows and the
Also,
first
same
48 and all this stuff, every single serial killer, every single one without fail was addicted to pornography at one day, at some point in time. Mm-hmm. It literally rewires your brain physically, in a physical aspect, to where you're desensitizing yourself to these things. And then now you want more, and now you want something harder, and now you want something more hardcore. And now you know what I'm saying? It's like this never ending, hunger monster that just wants something harder and something crazier. Right.
Yeah. And you'll never find you'll never find like the tapa for it.
Yeah. You never reach a limit.
There you go.
You always want more and something crazier.
Yeah.
So other than messing up your brain, literally, spiritually, man, like you're literally cheating on your wife or on your husband with a screen, with someone you're never going to meet, and then it creates issues in your marriage because physically they're not the same or whatever. And it's just unfair, so porn is just absolutely out of the question. Don't do that to yourself, and be mature enough to admit, if you have an issue, get help. I think it's a very taboo thing. Like when we were saying, there's some things that, everybody knows, but no one wants to talk about it. Dude, I think
it's the opposite now. Everybody's talking about it. No, I feel like it's just very, again, this, and a lot of this stuff will definitely lead back to social media. Be careful how young you let your kids get on social media. You know what you see on social media. You know the stuff that pops out on your own social media. Just imagine what else pops up for your kids. So I think it's almost really the opposite now, where a lot of people are very comfortable with that. Sometimes we end up staying up. We're on our phones. We talk at night. How's our day? How's our day? Situations. We end up saying, talking about things that or conversations that we wanted to have, and we have them by ourselves, and we're laying down in bed and all that. Or sometimes we are on our phones. We're on our phones. I'm laughing at something. She's laughing at something. But when something, certain things pop up at certain times of night también. So you start seeing certain things that pop up, and the stuff that I started seeing sometimes on my social media is the comfortableness with it. How it's getting thrown out there for your kids, how it's getting thrown out for you as a couple, how it's getting thrown out certain things. I think, if I can mention it, there was one that I had seen that was for me. I was like, man, what the heck? That's like how comfortable people are on social media now. It was a reel that was like, I want to say maybe 10, 15 seconds, of a girl walking out of a room, a younger teenager girl. But the caption or whatever on the screen says, when you know their parents hurt us and you walk out confidently anyways.
Oh, wow.
What is that saying? That's saying that they obviously were having sexual relations in their room, because the parents' house of the guy and the girl. And this is, I don't know if this sounds wrong, but it's been very accepted from a man to talk like that, right? And a woman is supposed to be very more kept to themselves, very reserved and all that. Yeah. But this was a girl posting it, a younger girl that looked like at least maybe 17, 18 years old. She's walking out of her boyfriend. It says her boyfriend's room. And again, this could be a lot of, what are the kids calling it? They call it a cap, where it's a lie or whatever. There's just to get followers, just to get likes or something like that. But this girl was walking out of the room, and the caption literally says, walking out of the room, still confident even after they hurt us. Wow. And I'm like, so now we're getting comfortable with this? This is how comfortable we are on social media, talking about things like that. Like, it's just, imagine what else is on. Yep. This is the stuff that you see in the forefront. Right. Just imagine the stuff you see in the back. Right. It's. I think it's too much of a very comfortable factor now, especially on social media. So my point on that is really for the kids, man. Watch out for what your kids are watching. YouTube will lead your child to a different. You can Google Sonic the Hedgehog, and it'll take your kid to something that has nothing to do with Sonic the Hedgehog. Right. Literally. Yeah. And also, if you go on the kids' YouTube, there's a separate one that we thought we were going to be safe with. You put your kid. My kid obviously loves to watch YouTube. They're on phones. They love techie stuff and everything now. But we thought we were going to be a little bit safer on the kid YouTube app. It's almost the same thing. But now you have these grown up adults that are playing with toys, and then they say certain things. So then my son's over here saying a certain word to us, and I'm just like, dang, where did they learn that from? We got them away from the regular YouTube.
Oh my god!
And then you start watching what they're watching. You're like, this is where it came out from.
Wow.
So I think back to your point in regards, obviously, to porn, I think it's the exact opposite now. Everybody's comfortable with it, and to everybody, it's something that's super normal. That is not normal. Pornography is not a normal thing. Definitely seek help. Me to put out our church on it, Abundant actually has classes for people that are dealing with that issue, where they're like, when it gets to the point where you need help because of it, seek it like that right away.
Yeah,
go seek help, because it's something that will rewire you. You will expect different from a relationship, and it'll take you places that it should never go. 100%. Definitely.
And you brought up an awesome point, Willy, where okay, it's really normal, quote unquote, for society to hear, or now we're hearing it everywhere, is about pornography or sex or whatever. But unfortunately, it's still taboo in our churches.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And it's like certain churches, like, they don't want to talk about it. And it's like, why? Our kids, our young teenagers are hearing it. Yeah. We have to talk to them, unfortunately, now earlier, because if they don't hear it from our parents or from pastors or someone, they're going to hear it from their friends or school or social media. It's like, it has to be talked about.
Heck yeah, definitely, man.
Yeah, it's something that, don't say that word. It's like, it's you have to talk about it.
As uncomfortable as it may seem,
right?
We've obviously had our talks with our children, but as uncomfortable it is, you have to have that talk. Right. You really, really do. And exactly how you said, it's happening at an earlier age because of social media.
Right.
If I can just put this out there, if I wasn't a real estate agent, I don't think I'd have social media, to be honest. There's good things about social media, great things about social media. I've met, and for me, 100% of my business comes from social media, or people that I knew back in high school that I haven't talked to since 2003. And then they reach out because they're like, hey, so-and-so told me you're a real estate agent. So there's great things about it, but there's I want to say there's probably 90% bad and 10% good. That's not a statistical fact. Don't quote me on it. I didn't research that one, but that's what I feel. That's literally what I feel, that that can lead you down a certain dark path. Literally, man.
For sure.
It's funny that you touch on that, and we'll kind of close up shop here, but I was just having a conversation with a business consultant who is very successful. He owns probably one of the nicest houses in El Paso. Very successful consultant. He's done consulting for Google.
Can I get his name afterwards?
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. He's done consulting for Facebook.
Okay.
And he told me when what Facebook was trying to do, I can't say here because it was pretty confidential, so I'm not going to break his trust. But he said that when Facebook revealed the algorithm that they were trying to set in place, he said that he's like, as soon as I found out what they were trying to do with these algorithms, I immediately stopped posting anything on Facebook. Okay. Because the intent, and this isn't news. There's a documentary on Netflix called The Social Media something.
Yes.
Do you remember the name of it?
The Social Dilemma.
The Social Dilemma.
Yeah.
And it touches on this exact thing. Their goal is to have as much attention from you as possible. And if you're not logging into the app a lot, they also pick that up. It's like, hey, this guy hasn't been. So now they'll start hitting you with notifications with, hey, Willy hasn't posted in 2 weeks, and now he posted a story. Look at it. And they'll just keep on digging to see what kind of stuff they can get you hooked on.
It's so frustrating.
It is frustrating.
I've had that. So I don't post. I post a lot about my business stuff. Literally, every once in a while, I'll have some dumb joke on there on Facebook or whatever. I do like doing reels. Reels are fun for me. But when I'm not on Facebook, it started notifying me so and so posted this, you might have missed out on it. So it's literally attracting you back to your phone because it sends you that message. And I'm like, man, what the heck? So what I started doing is I said, do not notify me of this. But then it goes on to the next person. So I don't know how many people I have on social media, especially on Facebook. I'm almost sure it's in the thousands. If you want to follow me, definitely follow me. But I think it's in the thousands. I'm not too sure. But I've been doing this for months and it's still doing it. I can go into my phone right now and it'll be about 4 or 5 notifications of not me liking something or somebody commented on a post that I put. It'll be literally a message that says, so-and-so posted about this. You may have missed out. And I'm like, yeah, I know I missed out. So I've been getting rid of them. But that algorithm, I think, is just set completely. I don't even think they want to find out that I'm removing that notification. They're like, we don't care. We're still going to send it to you. You need to be on Facebook. Facebook is where life is at. No, it's not.
Right.
No, it's not. And and I always talk to Esme about that. I'm like, stop. I hate Facebook.
It's so frustrating.
You get super frustrated, bro, because it has so many people. I'm just like, man, it wants you on your phone 24/7. So I've actually turned on the notifications on my iPhone that tells me my screen time, and my goals are to be on it less. So every week it'll send you a notification and it'll tell you your screen time percentage went down by this much. And I'm like,
yes,
I did what I was supposed to do.
Love it.
So I'm now really almost trying to only be on it business purpose for sure.
Shout out to Apple for that, man. That screen time stuff, that family stuff is awesome. I know we've used it with our family. I literally blocked out TikTok.com from all 4 of our phones.
Yeah.
So none of us can watch TikTok reels, which is a problem because my mom loves TikTok. And she'll send me the craziest things, and I'm like, Mom, I'm sure that was funny, but I can't access TikTok.com.
Okay.
Because I refuse to get sucked into that black hole, and I refuse to let my kids, see, go down.
I deleted it.
Yeah, 100%. So, man, guys, we touched in so much. We went from Valentine's to porn. And I love it.
And not in a good way.
No. But it's stuff, again, man.
Or no, in a good way.
Yeah,
right.
in a good way.
Yeah.
In a good way, yeah. It's stuff that needs to be said, right? Thank you guys for your time again, man.
Yes.
We had an absolute blast. And we will be in touch for part 3. All right, guys. God bless. Have a good one. Bye-bye.